At my 21st birthday dinner, Dad's face went white. I just told him I work 3 jobs and live on ramen, and he turned to Mom and asked where the $1,800 he sends every month was going. She went silent, and that's when everything fell apart. The table froze. Mom's fork hovered in midair. Richard suddenly found his mashed potatoes fascinating, and Oliver kept scrolling on his phone like nothing was happening. The birthday banner behind Mom's head said, "Happy 21st birthday, Emma," in bright pink letters. The irony made me want to scream. "What money?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Dad, what are you talking about?" Dad didn't look at me. His eyes were locked on Mom. "Diane," he said, his voice dangerously calm, "I have been sending you $1,800 every month for Emma's living expenses since she started college. That was our agreement. That was the divorce settlement. Where is the money?" Mom set her fork down slowly, her face cycling through emotions I couldn't read. Surprise, then fear, then something that looked almost like calculation. "Well," she started, "things have been tight, David. You know how expensive everything is these days. And Oliver's school?" Dad cut her off. "I'm not asking about Oliver's school. I'm asking about the $64,000 I sent for our daughter. The daughter who just told me she's been living on ramen and working 3 jobs while you posted Instagram photos of Oliver's $5,000 gaming setup. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. $64,000. That was supposed to be mine?" I looked at Mom, waiting for her to explain, to say there had been some mistake, some misunderstanding. She didn't. I stared at my mother, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. $64,000. 3 years of my life, struggling, starving, working until I collapsed. How did we get here? I'm 21 years old, a third-year pre-law student in Boston. My parents divorced when I was 6. Dad moved to Chicago and became a partner at a corporate law firm. Mom remarried quickly to Richard, and a year later, Oliver was born. He's 15 now, her do-over baby, her golden child from day one. I was the reminder of her failed first marriage, the one she had to keep because of the custody agreement. Dad pays my tuition directly to the school, but the living expenses were supposed to go through Mom, $1,800 a month. That was the divorce agreement. I never saw a dime, and until this moment, sitting at my own birthday dinner, watching my mother's face crumble, I had no idea that money even existed. I thought I was supposed to be independent. I thought struggling was normal. I thought the reason I couldn't afford food while Oliver got vacations and gaming setups was because life just wasn't fair. Turns out life wasn't the problem. Mom was. Apart from classes, I've taken on jobs like working at a coffee shop in the mornings, the library desk in the afternoons, and food delivery on my bike in the evenings and weekends. Even with these jobs, it's been hard to make ends meet each month with rent and living costs. It's been tough both mentally and physically. I get tired in class, and when I come home late, I struggle to find the energy to study. I'm worried I might fail courses because I'm falling behind. A few months ago, I felt anxious and desperate, so I called my mom to ask for some financial help, even if it was just a little. She sighed heavily into the phone and said, "Things are tight right now, Emma. Richard's business isn't doing well, and Oliver's school tuition is expensive. You're 21 now, you're an adult, you need to learn to manage on your own." I didn't want to bother Dad. He already paid my tuition, and I didn't want to seem like I couldn't handle myself, like I was failing at being independent. Most of my friends who live on their own get financial help from their parents. I envied them, but I decided to keep working hard at my jobs. Growing up after the divorce, things were never equal between me and Oliver. Even though we grew up in the same house, we lived in different worlds. He was Mom's miracle baby with Richard, the child of her happy second marriage, and I was the reminder of her failed first marriage, the one she had to keep because of the custody agreement. I tried to love my half-brother, but the difference in how we were treated was impossible to ignore. I remember when I was 12 and Oliver was 6, I brought home straight A's on my report card. And Mom barely looked up from helping Oliver with his coloring book. She just said, "That's nice, Emma." A few years later, when Oliver brought home a B- in 4th grade, Mom threw a little celebration and posted it on Facebook, "My little genius." She wrote, "So proud of my baby boy." Dad noticed the difference, too, during our weekends together. He asked once if I was okay, if Mom was treating me well. And I said yes because I didn't want to cause problems, didn't want to be the difficult child, the one who complained. I thought if I just worked harder, achieved more, Mom would notice me again. She never did. I grew up in a nice house. Dad's house had a pool. Mom's new house in the suburbs was beautiful. Private schools my whole life until college. I never had to worry about money before. I never expected to live in such poverty after moving out. Meanwhile, Oliver lived in a completely different world, and I saw it all on Mom's Instagram. Him in his private school blazer at some awards ceremony, him at lacrosse practice with brand new equipment, him with a new MacBook for his birthday, him on vacation with Mom and Richard in Florida. Each photo showed a life I wasn't part of anymore. I tried not to feel bitter, but it was hard seeing him living so lavishly while I was counting pennies for ramen noodles, and one post particularly stung. It showed Oliver with a brand new gaming setup, custom PC, 3 monitors, racing chair, the works, easily $5,000, his 15th birthday present. The caption read, "My baby boy deserves the world. Already saving for his car next year. #proudmom. #blessed. I stared at that post for a long time. $5,000 for a gaming setup. For a 15-year-old, meanwhile, I was delivering food on a bicycle in the rain because I couldn't afford a bus pass. How could Mom afford that for Oliver while telling me she had no money to spare? Something didn't add up. My friend Marcus noticed too. We were texting one night when he asked if I was okay, and I told him I was working every day, heading home for my birthday soon. He pushed back and said, "Wait, doesn't your dad send your mom money for you? He's a lawyer at a big firm, right?" I told him he pays tuition directly to the school. Living expenses go through my mom, and she says things are tight. Marcus wasn't buying it. He said, "But I saw your mom's Instagram. Your brother just got a $5,000 gaming setup, and he goes to that fancy private school, like $40,000 a year. How is she affording that if money is so tight?" I paused. I'd never thought about it that way before. Mom always said Richard pays for Oliver's stuff. I typed spoke slowly. His dad, his responsibility. No way, Marcus replied. Richard's business isn't even doing well. That's what your mom said, so how is he affording private school and expensive gifts? Maybe there's something going on you don't know about. That night, I couldn't sleep. I opened Instagram and went to mom's post about Oliver's gaming setup, scrolled through the comments, and then I saw it. A comment from dad from months ago. Glad to see the money I send is being put to good use for Emma. My blood ran cold. What money? What was he talking about? I called dad the next morning. Hey dad, random question. You said you pay my tuition directly to the school, right? That's right, pumpkin. Goes straight to the bursar's office every semester. And that's it? That's all you send? He paused and said, no, Emma. I send your mother $1,800 every month for your living expenses. Have been since you started college. It was part of our divorce agreement. She's supposed to forward it to you. I couldn't breathe. $1,800 a month for 3 years. Over $60,000. $60,000 that was supposed to be mine. Dad, I said, my voice shaking. I've never received any of that money. What? His voice changed instantly. Sharp, angry. What do you mean you've never received it? I've been working 3 jobs, I said. Living on ramen. I thought you only paid tuition. I thought I had to cover everything else myself. Emma, he said slowly. I have sent your mother over $60,000 in the past 3 years specifically for you. Are you telling me none of it reached you? None of it, I whispered. Long silence. Then Dad said, I'm coming to Boston. We need to talk. That evening, I headed out for my delivery shift. I needed the money. Even now, knowing what I knew, I still needed the money. But shortly after, something happened. I collapsed during my shift. It was a busy Thursday evening. Lots of orders. The app kept pinging with new deliveries. I'd been riding my bike for 4 hours straight. Hadn't eaten since morning. Just a granola bar and black coffee. The conversation with Dad kept replaying in my head. $60,000, 3 years, mom's Instagram, Oliver's gaming setup. I was pedaling up a hill when I felt dizzy. The street started tilting. My legs felt like they belonged to someone else. I tried to brake, but my hands weren't responding right. The last thing I remember is the bike wobbling beneath me and the pavement rushing up. When I woke up, I was in a hospital. The doctor told me I collapsed due to exhaustion and malnutrition. A pedestrian had found me unconscious on the sidewalk and called 911. I had scrapes on my arms and face from the fall. They gave me IV fluids and kept me overnight for observation. Dad was already on a flight when the hospital called him. He landed at 6 a.m. Friday morning and came straight to my room. I'd never seen him look so scared. And then, as he took in my appearance, the fear turned to something else. Rage. You've lost so much weight, he said quietly. I hadn't noticed myself, but apparently I looked skeletal. When did you last eat a real meal, Emma? A real meal? I had to think about it. I don't know. A few weeks ago, one of my friends made me pasta. Dad sat down heavily in the chair next to my bed. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me. How long has it been like this? How long have you been struggling? I started crying. Since I moved to Boston, 3 years, I didn't want to bother you. You already pay my tuition. I thought I was supposed to handle the rest myself. I thought if I couldn't manage, it meant I was failing, that I wasn't good enough. Dad's jaw tightened. That money was supposed to be yours, Emma. Every month, $1,800, directly into your mother's account. She was supposed to give it to you. That was the legal agreement. I trusted her to do one thing. One thing. They discharged me Saturday afternoon. Dad had already changed our flights. Your birthday is Sunday, he said. We're flying home tomorrow, and we're going to your mother's house. Something in his voice told me this wasn't going to be a celebration. And that brings us back to the dinner table, back to the moment when Dad's face went white, back to the question that shattered everything. Mom was still staring at her plate, Richard was frozen, and Oliver had finally put down his phone. The table went silent. Mom's face flickered, just for a second. Then she recovered and said, well, things have been tight, David. You know how expensive everything is these days. I haven't been getting any money, I said quietly. Mom's head snapped toward me. What? I haven't received anything from you. Ever since I started college, I thought I was supposed to cover my own expenses. I didn't know Dad was sending money through you. Dad's voice was ice. Diane, I have sent you over $60,000 in the past 3 years specifically for Emma. Where is it? Richard shifted uncomfortably. Oliver finally looked up from his phone. Mom stared at her plate. Please don't stay quiet, Dad said. Explain. Finally, Mom spoke and said things have been difficult. Richard's business hasn't been doing well. Oliver's school is expensive, and she's an adult now. She gestured at me. She can take care of herself. Oliver is still a child. He needs support. I felt like I'd been slapped. Dad's voice dropped dangerously low. Oliver is not my child. That money was for my daughter. My daughter who has been starving herself and working 3 jobs while your son gets $5,000 gaming setups and goes to a $40,000 a year private school. That's different, Mom protested. Richard pays for Oliver's things. Does he? Dad asked. Because last I heard, Richard's business was struggling. So where exactly did the money come from for Oliver's gifts, for his lacrosse equipment, for his MacBook, for your vacation to Florida? Mom's face went red. Dad continued. I did the math, Diane. $1,800 a month for 36 months is $64,800. How much of that actually went to Emma? Mom said nothing. How much, Diane? None of it, Mom whispered. I felt like I couldn't breathe. None of it. 3 years, $64,800, while I delivered food on a bicycle in the rain and passed out from not eating. Oliver looked uncomfortable now and asked Mom, what's going on? Stay out of this. Mom snapped at him. No, Dad said. Let him hear it. Let him know that the gifts he gets, the school he attends, the laptop he uses, all of that was paid for with money that was supposed to keep his sister fed. Oliver looked at me and said, I didn't know. I couldn't even respond. My throat was too tight. Mom tried a different approach. Emma's always been so capable, so independent. She's like you, David. She doesn't need help. But Oliver is sensitive. He needs more support. You don't understand what it's like raising a teenage boy in today's world. Dad cut her off. What I understand is that you stole from our daughter. That's what this is, Diane. Theft, misappropriation of child support. And I have 3 years of bank statements that prove I sent every single payment. Richard finally spoke and said, "Now wait a minute, David, let's not throw around words like theft." Dad turned to him. "Did you know about this?" Richard's silence was answer enough. Dad stood up. "Here's what's going to happen, starting immediately. All payments for Emma go directly to her account, not through you. I'll also be consulting with my lawyer about recovering the funds you've misappropriated. That's a legal term, by the way, for stealing child support. You can't do that," Mom said, her voice rising. "We can't afford to pay that back. We've already spent it." "Then I suggest you figure it out," Dad replied. "Because the alternative is that this goes before a judge, and I don't think a family court will look kindly on a mother who stole $60,000 from her own daughter while buying her stepson gaming setups." The birthday cake sat on the counter untouched. 21 candles, unlit, no one sang, no one celebrated. My 21st birthday ended with my mother crying, my stepfather refusing to look at anyone, and my half-brother staring at me like I'd ruined his life. "Happy birthday to me." Oliver texted me that night while I was staying at Dad's apartment. "Thanks a lot. Mom's been crying for hours. This is all your fault." I stared at the message. "My fault? I've been starving while you got a gaming setup and private school." His reply came fast. "It's not my fault Mom loves me more." I blocked him. Dad transferred $5,000 into my account before I flew back to Boston. Back pay, he called it. He set up automatic monthly transfers. No more going through Mom, ever. Before I flew back, Dad drove me to the airport. At the gate, he hugged me longer than usual. "You know what I'm most proud of?" he said. "Not your grades, though those are amazing. It's that you survived 3 years of what should have broken you and you came out stronger. You're going to be an incredible lawyer someday. You already have the resilience for it." I cried the whole flight home. Good tears. The first thing I did was buy groceries. Real groceries. Fresh vegetables, fruit, meat. I stood in my tiny kitchen eating a real meal and cried again. Not from sadness, from relief. I quit the coffee shop and the delivery app, kept only the library job. For the first time in 3 years, I had time to study, to sleep, to breathe. Over the next year, I watched Mom's carefully built life crack. Dad's lawyer sent a demand letter. Oliver had to leave private school. They sold his gaming setup to pay bills. He blamed me publicly on Instagram. I kept him blocked. Mom called once, crying, apologizing, but even her apology was full of excuses. Oliver needed things. Richard was struggling. I did what I thought was best for the family, as if I was ever part of it. I told her I needed time. We haven't really talked since. Oliver reached out once, about a year after the birthday dinner, a long message from a new Instagram account. He said he was sorry, that he didn't know what Mom was doing, that he felt guilty about the gaming setup and the school and everything. I read it 3 times. Then I replied and said, "Thank you for saying that. I hope you're doing better. I'm not ready to have a relationship yet, but I wish you well." He never responded. Maybe he will someday, maybe not. I've made peace with not knowing. 2 years later, I'm in law school, top of my class. Dad married Rebecca last spring. She's kind and genuine and treats me like I matter. This Thanksgiving will be my first holiday with just the 3 of us. No Mom, no Oliver, no drama. It won't be the big family gathering I dreamed about as a kid, but it will be honest, it will be peaceful, and for the first time since the divorce, I'll be somewhere I actually belong. Sometimes family isn't the people who raised you, it's the people who show up, and I finally have that.